facilitate the AI development, also linking to common European data spaces and providing all sorts of data-related services, like data pooling, data cleaning, data enriching, storing, etc. Then we have the pillar or the key area of algorithms. Here, the idea is to deploy the applied AI strategy, which will cover a number of selected EU strategic sectors benefiting from all these infrastructures. Of course, the AI factories here are the key digital infrastructure that will leverage these selected sectors, both from academia and AI startups. There is also a leg of regulatory simplification. I will not delve here into the details. This will be carried out by the newly established European AI Office. And then the skills. This is, of course, in the umbrella of the AI Continent Action Plan, and this is also a key element of the AI factories. So the idea here is that Europe has already an outstanding pool of talent, but we have to level it up. For instance, by incentivizing the return of European AI specialists that went overseas to develop their career, to encourage their return, or upskilling and reskilling the current EU workforce. So, AI factories. As many of you might be aware of, this action was launched in July last year. So there was an open call. Now we are on the second iteration, so the second wave, the second cutoff date. And so far, the EuroHPC has selected 13 entities to host AI factories across 17 member states and 2 EuroHPC participating states. This will involve the deployment of 9 new AI-optimized supercomputers and the upgrade of one of the existing supercomputers in the network. The estimated overall investment, both in supercomputing infrastructures and specifically in AI factories, will reach the 10 billion euro for the current multi-annual financial framework. And of course, these factories will be federated, will be interconnected to the overall EuroHPC network, supercomputing network, and of course establish the collaboration and cooperation frameworks for effective operations. So now into the concept itself. So what are AI factories? The key word here is ecosystems. It's not just a supercomputer, it's not just computing capacity and data, but the whole ecosystem. So we really believe that for this initiative to succeed, all the elements there have to be put, including supercomputing, data, but also all the development facilities and environments, and of course, very relevant, the human capital, the human talent, in order to support the European industrial and research ecosystems in developing their advanced AI models and AI applications. We expect after the next cutoff, the next cutoff date this summer, more than 15 AI factories and several AI factory antennas. I will also explain briefly what an AI factory antenna is. They are starting to be operational already this year, 2025, and through 2026. They will specialize in a number of key strategic sectors. I will also show some details afterwards on this. And the largest factories are expected to have around the order of magnitude of 25,000 advanced GPUs. This is a bit the graphical representation of what I already mentioned. So, of course, the supercomputing capacity is there in the core, in the center of the factory, but it needs to be surrounded by a number of key elements: data, talent, programming facilities, links to the cloud, and the specific AI and HPC services for the users. Also very relevant, the links to the external AI ecosystem, including common data spaces, AI artifacts like pre-trained models, etc., that are already up there in the market. Also very important here, this concept of one-stop shop. So we really aim at AI factories covering the whole life cycle, the whole needs of the AI developers, AI users. This is just to emphasize this concept of data labs to facilitate access to high quality data in order to facilitate the AI development, the efforts to develop these skills and talent, links to the cloud, and also the networking. So very important here, an AI factory, it's not an entity on its own. It really needs to be interconnected. We are looking for synergies around the whole AI factory network. So what was when we were defining this strategy, this AI factory strategy, and here I would like to highlight the point that this was really a co-creation effort. A number of workshops were carried out, both with the HPC community, so with EuroHPC hosting entities, and of course the AI communities, both from academia and science and from industries, startups, scale-ups, etc. So here what is relevant is that it's really a collaborative effort. On the one hand, we have the EU strategy on AI factories, so the initiatives that the EU is going to actively fund. And on the other hand, we have the national effort. So the national contributions from the member states or participating states where the AI factories are hosted. And this really needs to work synergically. So there are some activities that make sense to do at Central European level because of the European EU value. And some of them make sense to be localized to cater for the specific needs, for the specific specificities of each national local community. As I was mentioning before, the selected AI factories are covering a wide range of key strategic sectors. Here, I would like to emphasize that these sectors were not pre-selected top-down. They were the AI factories proposers' own initiatives, but happily enough, we see that they are covering the whole spectrum of key strategic sectors as well for the Union. From health to environment to finance, space, manufacturing, etc. I already mentioned this AI factory antennas concept. So here the idea is to allow member states, participating states, that maybe they do not want to host their own supercomputer just because it's not on their strategy, or they don't have the current capacity now to carry out this huge supercomputing facility investment. So to allow these countries to host their own AI factory antenna services. So how will this work? These AI factory antennas will associate to one of the existing established AI factories with their own supercomputer, and they will create this link, so they will leverage the computing capacity in the established AI factory, and they will develop on top a layer of localized AI factory services catering for their national communities. All this effort also involved the revision of the EuroHPC access policy with specific now dedicated tracks to AI, dedicated access modes to AI, one for science and collaborative EU projects, and one specific for industrial innovation, including SMEs, startups, and scale-ups. The industrial innovation access track includes 3 access modes for different user needs and user maturity levels in in HPC applications. So a very fast track, playground track, a fast lane for a bit larger compute capacity, and then the large scale mode for the really advanced use, aiming at training very advanced AI models. Also a dedicated track for science, available for users from academia and research, established in member states, associated to public funding programs. So very important as well, we have this concept of one-stop shop, and we have also this concept of single gateway. So any user across the union, no matter which country, which state, which member state they are, or participating state they are located at, they will have access to this AI factory resources and services through the gateway established by the EuroHPC joint undertaking through their website. So I guess this will be vastly mentioned through the session today, but we wanted to make sure that we were facilitating access, clarifying the access way to users to these infrastructures through this single gateway. And to close this introductory presentation, just a quick mention to gigafactories, because you might have heard about the launch of this call for expression of interest. So this was announced by President von der Leyen in February in the AI Action Summit in Paris. And the concept here is to building on what is being developed in AI factories, to taking up to the next level, to really enable massive facilities beyond. Here the idea is to go beyond 100,000 advanced GPUs. That is the order of magnitude of hundreds of megawatts to power these facilities. To really, these large scale capacity facilities will be designed to develop, train, and deploy the most complex AI models, going here beyond hundreds of trillions of parameters. The idea here is to fund 4 to 5 gigafactories across Europe, with a total investment of up to 20 billion euro. And we really think that this is essential now to enable to close the circle in this AI continent plan, to allow Europe to compete on the global scale. Here the idea is not to go for purely public initiatives like in the factories, but here, because of the magnitude of the investment, the public-private partnerships are estimated to be necessary. With this, I close my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and over to you, Josephine. Thank you.
Javier, thank you very much for kicking us off this morning. It's a really good overview of basically what we're going to be discussing with you all this morning. Just a couple of housekeepings. We've got already a few questions in the Q&A, some of which Javier will be answering directly, some which may not feel so comfortable about, but we'll answer them throughout the morning, and you probably will get the answer from the different presentations that come through. Can I ask, please, those of you who turn on their AI bots not to do so? We don't like that, particularly in this JU, and if we see them, we will turn them off. Okay, without further ado, then thank you again, Javier. My colleague, Vangelis, are you there, Vangelis? Vangelis will now present, he's the head of infrastructure for the joint undertaking, and that will now present the systems. Javier, sorry, Vangelis, the floor is yours.
Yes.
Hi, there you are.
Thank you, Jo. Good morning all. So my presentation will be quick and to the point. Also, already Javier presented lots of concepts and an overview of the systems access. So I will focus on heavy metal. And by heavy metal, of course, I mean our systems. Let me share my presentation. Okay. So without delay, I'm jumping directly to our infrastructure. So probably you're familiar with EuroHPC. You know that we've been building a supercomputing infrastructure since 2019, essentially. And during these years, we have put into place 8 systems that are currently operational, which are some of the biggest systems in Europe and bigger in the world. So we have Mare Nostrum 5, Leonardo, Lumi, which at the top of the tier. It's systems that we own. It's our asset. We have co-funded with 50%. And we give 50% access to the access time of for the European users. Then in the first wave of systems also, we have procured and put into operation these 5 petascale smaller systems. Since back then in 2021, these were systems in the capacity of 5 to 15 petaflops. So this is Deucalion, Meluxina, Vega, Carolina, Discoverer. These were one of the first systems that we have put into operation and have given access to Europe. And then this effort is ongoing. We have Jupiter. This will be our first exascale system, the biggest system that we're installing now. I say coming sooner because it's coming sooner than those that are also coming soon. So Jupiter, yes, it's being installed right now. We expect to go operational in the summer. And then we have some mid-range systems, as we call them, Daedalus and Arrhenius, which have just been awarded to the constructors, the companies that will build them. And they are under construction, let's say, put it this way. And then also we have Alice Recoq. This is the second exascale system, and this is in the process of ongoing procurement. So this systems is in the, let's say, the first wave, and they were available when the ChatGPT frenzy started, like 2 years ago. And we were in this advantageous position that as EuroHPC, as an organization, we owned systems that they were very well designed for AI applications. So it, as a natural consequence, immediately we started offering some of the systems to cover the immediate requirements of the AI community in Europe. If we want to put the current state of the infrastructure into numbers, so I have put all the systems in one slide. I mean, if we add up all the capabilities now offered, so we are offering around 20 partitions, different computing partitions with architectures, which are CPU and GPU nodes. CPU, we are offering AMD Intel x86 CPUs as well as Fujitsu ARM. But I think it's more interesting for the AI community is the GPU capacity that we provide. And right now, if we add up all the systems together, it's around 43,000 GPUs, which at the moment are mostly NVIDIA A100, some H100, and AMD MI250X GPUs. Now, this is the first phase, but as part of the AI Factories project now, of course, we are moving forward. We are shifting our attention and also our budget to the design and the deployment of specifically AI-oriented systems. So this map, you saw it already from Javier, is the map of the 13 AI factories that we have selected so far. Now, there is a mixture now of strategy here. Some of these AI factories already have systems, so they will provide these systems as part of the AI factory access and AI factory service portfolio. So these 3 AI factories that in part of the proposal, they came with an existing system, so they're not procuring a new one. So this is Jupiter, Alice Recoq, and Daedalus. And then there are AI factories that have come. They plan to procure a system. But until a new system, AI optimized system is available, we're using the existing supercomputer, the existing capabilities to cover for this intermediate period the requirements for the AI applications. So this is, for example, is BSc. There will be an upgrade to Mare Nostrum 5, but for the time being, Mare Nostrum 5 is offered through our AI access calls. Same stands for Italia, the factory run by Cineca. So there we offer Leonardo and the currently Lisa upgrades of Leonardo, which has added additional GPUs, until the Leonardo AI system will arrive from 2026 onwards. Lumi in Finland is CSC. So this is, of course, it's our biggest system. We offer it the GPU partition as part of the access calls until the Lumi AI system will arrive again from 2026 onwards. Meluxina, one of our smaller systems, but with a significant GPU capacity, is provided by LuxProvide. Again, here we are procuring a new system. Already the procurement is ongoing, the Meluxina AI. In Sofia, in Bulgaria, we have a small GPU partition, the Discover Plus, and we are preparing a new big upgrade, new big investment there for a GPU-based system, the Discovery Plus. And in Slovenia, we have the Viga system with a smaller GPU partition, but again, there we are aiming for a big investment for the next generation, the Vega AI now, I call it. System that again is upcoming. Now, apart from their existing supercomputing centers, partners that we have deployed together systems in the past, there are some new entities that have joined our family of supercomputing centers, and there we are deploying systems for scratch that we will procure together with a local entity. So this is the Hammer High that will be deployed in HLRS in Stuttgart. The Piast AIF that will be procured and installed in Poznan, hosted by PCNC. In Vienna, we are installing a system for the AIAT AI factory, the Austrian. And also finally, in Sweden, the Mimer AI factory that is operated by the University of Linköping. Although there already we are installing the RN system, there will be a new one specifically designed for AI applications that will, the procurement is also going to be launched for this one. So all this new capacity, new capabilities, we expect to see becoming operational for 2026 onwards. Until then, we will continue to rely on our existing systems and our newly procured system, especially Jupyter and Lise Recoq. More information about all the supercomputers you will find in this link. And later on, my colleague Clara will give you some more information about our access calls and how practically you can request access to use these systems. And with this, I finish my presentation. Thank you all for your attention.
Vangelis, thank you so much for that very speedy overview. Really grateful. Lilith, are you ready for your session?
Yes, thank you, Jo. I will just share my screen. I hope you see it.
Yes, we do. Thank you.
In a presenter mode?
Not quite yet.
Okay. Now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So my presentation is the continuation of what Vangelis might have presented, and I will concentrate on the services of the AI factories rather than the hard metal. So the services of the AI factories are intended to be as one-stop shop for SMEs and the startups. This is the place where SMEs and startups can come and basically be served in all the possible questions and comments that they have related to using supercomputers. I will first present which activities and services the factories provide to SMEs and startups, and then I will touch base the industrial sectors that these factories will be helping. So for the services, of course, if we say artificial intelligence, then the first thing we think is data. And yes, AI factories will be serving in the relation to data, as Javier also presented. They will give access to data through data lakes, data spaces, data repositories. They will help with data registry, synthetic data generation, data injection, and similar services, and sensitive data solutions. But as we know, data can be a very, very important part of the and very sensitive part of the AI activities, and thus the factories are also intended to help with legislation questions. They will have legislation consultancy to support for regulatory compliances and also sensitive data protection compliances. On top of that, of course, there should be testing and modeling. You will be able, as an SME and startup, to do prototyping at AI factories, to access and set up the test beds. You can do quality and safety models, develop them, and also, last but not least, inference possibilities you will be provided by factories. If we go one step further and take a look on software and hardware expertise, then you will be able to set up new workflows on our factories, import the existing workflows, optimize them, or fine-tune. The factories are supposed to have all the expertise to help you in every single step of this. But on top of that, they will be providing an extensive portfolio of training, group trainings or customer trainings that will be also tweaked and tilted to your needs. There will be also possibilities that some of the factories will provide on-demand customer fit training at premises of the SMEs and startups. Expert consultancy is something that we learned are extremely important for small and medium enterprises. This is something that really, truly differentiates the factories from all possible other access and cloud providers. We provide expert consultancy through factories. Per customer, personalized consultancy, sector-aware know-how transfer, the business model consultancy, and also AI framework consultancy. Moreover, you will have a possibility for physical co-working hubs. Some of the factories will be able to provide you the physical space where you can talk to your colleagues from other companies, for example, or the experts or the consultants to come up with even greater ideas and more work possibilities for AI optimizations. Now, let's take a look on the hardware. Yes, you will get access to all the systems that Vangelis mentioned and listed and even more, but what you will get on these systems? There you will get a sophisticated hardware and software environment. In difference to the currently available machines, the AI factory machines will be specifically adjusted to AI needs. So you will get shared and/or parallel file systems. You will get non-volatile memory, express possibility storage, or data handling on nodes. Shared memory, petabytes of storage, as well as a scalable objective storage. And please note that some of these attributes that I'm listing now may not be available on all systems, but many of the systems will choose one or the other possibility or even both possibilities for providing these services. The containerized environment is a must in this AI environment, and then including also software stack as well as the virtual machines. Hierarchical checkpoint possibilities, something that has been flagged very important for AI, and of course cloud access and/or Slurm, depending on the AI factory. Kubernetes environment for training, different data access methodologies, for example, as S3, and also InfiniBand and/or Ethernet connections. You will have access to the software, a secure software environment, multi-tenancy, and finally inference environments. And especially the last three are important for sectors like health or sensitive data, or the sectors that require sensitive data access and training. So which sectors will be addressed? In principle, every possible sector, and even sectors that have never been able to use supercomputers up until now. Sectors like low-tech or agriculture or fintech. These sectors are new to HPC, and we are going to enable through AI factories environment that will be very close, very familiar for them to use AI factory supercomputers. Here I list some of our AI factories that already started to create their image, their logo, and their websites. You can already access some of them and read the services they are providing, and the others are getting started, so just keep tuned to learn more about them. And finally, I would like to show the table of the sectors they are now serving, and you can see the countries that are serving different sectors, and this will be filled in with upcoming factories, and more you will see. And all this information you will also receive on our websites that Joe will present after me. And as already my previous two colleagues mentioned, there is more to come. The calls are open on our web pages for the AI antennas and also for future AI factories. And you can just go and apply if you wish that your country will be an AI antenna or host an AI factory. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention.
Someone muted me. Oh well. Thank you very much, Lilith. That was a great overview of the different services that will be provided or are being provided already for the AI Factories portal. I'm going to show a quick slide about the portal itself. Have you already showed it a little bit? And I'm going to ask my colleague Maxine if she's out there to show us the portal, please. Here it comes. So the idea, as was already indicated, this is a one-stop shop, and the idea is that users who would like to access our different services, so whether it be the infrastructure or the services, should be able to come to the portal. Now, just one slide back, please. The first thing, if you are interested in one of the services, is to look at this picture and work out which country you would like to access our systems and the services from. As you can see at the moment, there are 13 countries that are ready and waiting, but actually there are more than that, because, for example, the Lumi system is made up of 4 or 5 different consortium of 4 or 5 different countries. So, for example, if you're if you're Danish, you can go to the Lumi system, and if you're, for example, Turkish, and I see there's a lot of Turkish colleagues on the line today, you may want to go through the Barcelona supercomputing system. So that's the Spanish one, for example. So have a look at the different AI factories when you go onto our portal. Have a look at the different services that they provide, and then click on that, and then that will show you to the next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what happens is you will then get onto the portal. So you will get onto the gateway to access our AI factories on our website. That will take you to the portal with the picture with all the different flags. And then you then go from so say you choose the Italian Leonardo AI factory, you will then click on that, and that will take you to two areas. One is the services provided by the different countries, or it could take you straight to the AI Factory Access calls. And Clara, my colleague, will talk in a lot more detail about the different calls and who's eligible, who isn't, and how you go about applying for a call. Or you could simply just want information from the joint undertaking, in which case you click on Help Desk AI Factories, and you put your question in, and we will then be able to answer your questions directly. So I really invite you. This is basically the message of this part of the presentation: is while you're listening to us speak, go onto our website and have a look and play around with that. And here is the link to our website. If you want, we'll leave this for a couple of seconds so you can actually click on the QR code directly from your laptops, hopefully wherever you are. And hopefully that will take you, if you don't, take you to the AI Factory portal, and then from there you can start having a look around while we speak and present you the other activities. Okay, that's what I wanted to say on the portal. We are answering your questions as and when they come. if we can answer them. If we can't answer them, we won't. Simple as that. And you know who you are if you've asked that sort of question. We are now running 15 minutes early, which is brilliant. So thank you very much to my colleagues for going so fast. I'm going to keep going because I'd like to ask, and I would like to ask Clara, if you're there, to present, give us more information about how to apply access to a supercomputer and an AI factory. Thank you, Clara.
Hi, thank you, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me share.
Thank you, Clara. Yeah, you can put it onto presenter mode.
See?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Correct one?
Actually, that's the version we could, yeah, we can, this is your version, but it doesn't matter. I used to do driving.
Just a second.
So while Clara's doing that, can I just remind you that if you've got any questions for Lilith or Vangelis, please put them in the Q&A section, as you can see at the top of your screen. And yeah, and we will continue now with Clara. Thank you, Clara.
Okay, I believe now you see the correct one.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, so my name is Clara Meštrović. I am the head of the peer review sector in the joint undertaking, and I would present to you a little bit about the access opportunities for industrial innovation. So somehow I wanted to present a full circle of what we have. So before it was mentioned also by Javier and as well Vangelis that we procure these machines, we procure infrastructure, and in this context, we are mentioning AI factories, and why we procure them in order to provide access to users. How we provide this access is via different access modes that cater to different needs of users. And in order to ensure fair access, we have an established peer review process per different access mode. So this was as well already mentioned, but I wanted to highlight somehow the full opportunities that we provide as a joint undertaking. So we have calls for traditional HPC. So these 4 calls have been running for several years now. So we have benchmark and development, which are intended for preparatory access for testing, and regular and extreme scale access, which are intended for bigger production runs. Then, besides the traditional HPC, we have now introduced something new, which is the calls for AI applications, which we are referring to as AI factory access calls. In this case, we have a call for science and as well for industrial innovation. Within the AI for Science, we have the AI for Science and Collaborative Projects access mode, and the AI, and for the industrial innovation, we have 3 access modes, which is playground, fast lane, and large scale. We will today focus on these 3 access modes, considering the topic of this webinar. Before we can go into detail about how the access modes actually look like and what are they intended for, I would like to highlight the eligibility conditions for accessing our systems and for applying as well. So who is eligible in this case? What we see written here on the right side, this is taken from a regulation. I will try to simplify it a bit. So this is applicable for all of our access modes, not only for industrial innovation. And this means that the project lead and the team members have to be affiliated with organizations either listed in the country's list, either of Horizon 2020, Digital Europe Program, or Horizon Europe. So this may sound a little bit complicated with the years and mentioning the regulation. This basically means at the moment we are offering the systems funded by Horizon 2020. And in this case, project lead and team members should be affiliated with countries in the Horizon 2020 list. As we proceed in the future, this list will expand, considering the funding comes from a different program for new machines. And in this case, the list will be slightly enlarged, and it will be applicable from Digital Euro program or Horizon Europe countries. Another eligibility criteria that is applicable throughout all of the access modes is that the project leads have to have an employment contract in the organization at the time of the proposal submission and valid at least 3 months after the end allocation date. And then the final one, which is a very important one in the context of industrial innovation access calls, which is that the project lead must be affiliated with an industry organization, meaning that it's either a commercial company, SME, or a startup. So this is an eligibility criteria. We also require to provide a valid VAT number or a PIC number. And in this case, we will check this. We have tools to check, and this is a basis basically for the eligibility in order to pass the eligibility check. Okay. Now more on the content itself, which is which are the 3 access modes. We have playground access. This is for entry-level users, where they can get the fixed allocations of 5,000 GPU hours. The results are within 2 working days after the proposal submission, and the duration can be 1, 2, or 3 months. Then we have the fast lane access. This is already for users that are familiar with HPC, and this is for allocations up to 50,000 GPU hours. The results are within 4 working days after the proposal submission, and the duration is 1, 2, or 3 months. And the last one is the large-scale access. So this is for experienced users and for larger allocations, basically more than 50,000 GPU hours. In this case, we have 2 cutoff dates per month, and the results are within 10 working days after the cutoff date. The applicants can request the duration of the project to be either 3, 6, or 12 months. All of these calls have been open from 9th of April, so they are quite new. So a little bit more than a month we have been running them. So feedback is also very much welcome. So now I would like to go a little bit more in detail what happens with your proposal after you submit it. So how it looks. So for large-scale access, we have these steps that you see below. So we start with an eligibility check, which is done by the office, which I previously mentioned some of the criteria. After those that pass the eligibility check proceed to the technical assessment and the industrial innovation group evaluation steps. In these two steps, as the name suggests, in the technical assessment, we are evaluating the technical feasibility of the project, and industrial innovation group evaluation is based on the innovation and impact aspects of the projects. We then receive the ranking list of each AI factory of the proposal submitted into their system and evaluated, and we present these lists to our executive director for approval. After this has been completed, we communicate the results to the applicants. For fast lane access, this is pretty much simplified. So we have only the eligibility check and the technical assessment, and the same goes for playground access, also eligibility check and the technical assessment. And after the successful technical assessment, the applicants are notified about the results and can access the system if they are successful. Just to mention that the technical assessments and the industrial innovation group evaluations are executed by our AI factories. So a little bit more on the available resources. Mind you, we are still updating the website with content as we go. And this is something that is now still pending, if I'm not mistaken. We are, so some of these numbers are approximate. But we would like to highlight maybe as a heads up on what is going to be implemented. So you can see the systems that we offer at the moment for this AI factory access calls. For playground access, we have all the systems listed here. So Vega, Meluxina, Discover, Lumi, Leonardo, and Mare Nostrum. And you can get, as mentioned before, 5,000 GPU hours fixed allocation. For fast-lane access, we offer our pre-exascale machines as well as Meluxina GPU. And here we have already some limitations. We have a minimum and a maximum request for this access mode. Which is the same for all the systems. And large-scale access, we offer at the moment only the pre-exascale machines. And here I would like to highlight this GPU hours maximum per month. So this is because we have taking into consideration the usage of the systems, so the real usage of the system, and basically that the duration of the projects can vary from 3, 6, or 12 months. And of course, it's not the same if a larger allocation is requested for 12 months and for 3 months. So basically, this is a rough estimate on what should be the maximum per month request. And this is how you would then calculate the overall request. Okay. Just for your planning and how will it look across the year. So on these 3 access modes, so we have playground access and fast lane access that is already mentioned. They are continuously open with no cutoff date, so it's very easy to have access. And then we have large scale access with 2 cutoff dates per month. So this is the current status of the upcoming cutoffs. So 30th of April, we already closed this cutoff. We awarded the project submitted. We are currently evaluating those that have been submitted now until 15th of May. And we are now receiving proposals for the cutoff of 30th May. And you can see the planning for the rest of the year. So I would like to end on the line of providing some guidelines and advice, some coming from the previous experience with calls for traditional HPC, and some are coming now within this month that we could gather. So we would like to highlight, as I already mentioned, that we will still update our website with content. Do pay attention to the JU website, and Joe also presented very nicely how does it look. So do pay attention for any updates. Do also pay attention for the eligibility criteria, organization country, and organization type in case of industrial innovation. Also provide a valid VAT number, because this is something that we indeed check. Considering, as this is now mostly for large-scale access, considering that we do not have a separate document that you need to fill in as a proposal, so everything is in the online forms. Do fill in the forms with all relevant details as well for innovation and impact, and provide justifications for your resources requests, so the experts that evaluate the proposal can be informed well, basically. Then the second one regarding the team members, this is not a limitation, just highlight that we saw in many cases that we have a lot of team members listed. So we would just like to kindly ask you to limit this to a considerable number. Then in order to ensure that the codes can run on the system, the applicants are definitely advised to test their codes via the playground access. And then the one maybe that will not be the most popular, but it is very important to note, considering the numbers of users on our systems, we would kindly ask the users to plan the resources usage carefully and to try to have homogeneous usage throughout the allocation period. Yes, of course, it's not helpful if you get an allocation, you are not using anything for 6 months, and then on the last month, you decide to use up everything. Of course, this is not helpful neither for the supercomputing center nor for the project. So we do emphasize on this one quite a lot. Then take the provided feedback from the Industrial Innovation Group as well as the technical experts into consideration. This is super important, especially in case if you have been rejected and want to resubmit the proposal. And also, of course, if you have been awarded, they mean well. and as well to communicate any issues or concerns in a timely manner, both to the AI factories and the JU. This is, of course, regarding any technical questions that you may have. We would strongly advise to communicate with the selected AI factory, and of course, anything related to procedures. You can drop us an email anytime. Just before I close, I would like to highlight that we have an upcoming conference on EuroHPC User Days in Copenhagen in Denmark, which will be at the end of September, and you're more than welcome to attend. So this is it from my side. Thank you.
Excellent, Clara. Thank you very much for that. And just to say that the whole of the JU will be present at User Days if you're interested. And for those of you who are going to ISC in Hamburg in June, we will also be there at our booth and happy to take questions. Now, I am going to suggest that we take 10 minutes break now before the next sessions. So I'm going to close the meeting. Well, we could keep the meeting open, but we'll come back to you at 20 to 11, so 10:40 Luxembourg time. And in the meantime, we will put up the QR code again so that those would like to already try and access directly onto our website and onto the different calls that Clara was talking about. You can already start having a look at that. So my colleagues are going to kindly put up the QR code again. And after the break, we will have presentations from 5 of our AI factories. There are actually 13, but 5 today will present their different activities and services. That doesn't mean that the other, how many have we got left? The other 8 aren't available as well. It's just we picked 5 this time. If you want to meet all 13, then again, you can meet them at ISC in Hamburg in June. So without further ado, we'll be back at 10:40. Thank you very much. Okay, we have 2 more minutes to go, just so you know. So while we're waiting,
share my screen in the meantime, Joe?
I was going to say, Laura, if you're ready to share, then we can already get that going.
I can just start sharing now. And
very good, and then we can start, and then I'll introduce you.
Can you see it in full screen?
Perfect. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So 2 more minutes. I hope everybody's had a chance to grab a coffee or a cup of tea. And we let everybody in. So while I'm waiting, can I remind everybody, please no AI bots on this call. 2, if you have got questions, please use the Q&A button at the top of your screen. And we will endeavour to answer your questions, or we the speakers and presenters will endeavour to answer your questions as we go throughout the morning. This session will be recorded and will be posted on our website, and the slides will also be available on our website. If you would like more information and would like to ask for request access, please go onto our website and you can walk through the portal and get straight to the different calls that you can apply for or ask us a question. I'm now looking at the time. It's exactly 10:40. So Laura, I'm very delighted that you could join us. You've got a big day today, launching the AI Factory in Leonardo in Bologna, Italy. Laura, please, you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joe. And it's really a pleasure being here. As you heard today, we have the operative kickoff with all the partners. And so I'm happy to present you today the Italian AI Factory. I'm Laura Morselli. I'm the technical project manager of the Italian AI Factory. And I work at Cineca, which is the supercomputing center in Italy. And as you have heard before, we host a pre-exascale supercomputer called Leonardo, which is also the pillar of the first starting month of our AI Factory. So let's go straight into the business. So what type of services and what type of audience we wish to reach with our project. So we really wish to reach to different type of users. So AI for science, so typically academia and research, which are already the typical users of our infrastructure. AI for innovation, which are startup, SMEs, industries, and private entities. And this is really where we have to put an effort, a special effort into attracting these new type of users of our machines, and AI for public good, so public administrations. In particular, we have, if you look at the lower row, the services, we have divided our services into 4 main categories, and we will go a bit more into the details of each one later on. So we have services related to the world of data, and of course we know that data are fundamental to develop AI models and also to build the services that rely on AI. Then we have horizontal services, and by horizontal we mean those services that are not domain specific, but can apply to different type of vertical domains. And then we have vertical services. So our AI Factory focuses on 4 main verticals, which are Earth, and by Earth we mean climate, weather, and environment, agri-food, cybersecurity, and manufacturing. And finally, we have a full offer of training, which is very comprehensive, and this goes into the category of AI skills. You can see in the middle these AI gates. Who are these AI gates? These are already existing initiatives or organizations at the European or national level that are already operational. They are already close to the AI users. So they are maybe closer to the AI users than us as of now, depending on the type of the AI users. So we foresee with these gates a special interaction that has already started. And just to give you some examples, we mean the European Digital Innovation Hubs, the testing and experimentation facilities, but also gates at the national level. So As you heard before, our pillar as of now that provides the compute power that on which the services are built on is the supercomputer Leonardo, which will be soon upgraded with a partition which is already AI enhanced with 8 GPUs per node and more than 160 nodes that will arrive by the end of this year. But we are also putting in production right now and in the room close to me a cloud system which is called Gaia, on which we foresee that some prototyping of services will happen with the umbrella of the AI Factory, and then the forthcoming AI optimized system that will come next year. And all these systems are housed here where I am right now, which is the data center at the Bologna Technopole. And this infrastructure really provides a computing continuum that can really address the different requests of the ecosystem. Just a few details on the infrastructure. As of now, Leonardo has the booster module has more than 3,400 compute nodes. Each node is equipped with 4 NVIDIA A100 GPUs. They are custom GPUs because they have 64 gigabyte of memory. We have also a data-centric module with more than 1,500 compute nodes. And as you've heard, Lisa is upcoming with 8 GPU H100 per node. And here are the specifications also of the Gaia Cloud. So you can see this compute continuum that we are putting at the service of the AI Factory and the Italian and European users. Now let's go a bit more into the details of the different services. So data is really the driver of AI research, but also AI innovation. And so we are putting together a series of services that go from access, management, valorization, creation of new data set, really to empower the ecosystem. So we are building catalogs of on-premise data set, which will have facilitated access. We are building a catalog of a national data catalog, putting together those connectors that are needed to facilitate data transfer with other catalogs, both at the national but also at the European level. And this also goes into the external facilitation of external data acquisition. We are providing data orchestration tools and also some more, let's say, infrastructure-related services that are dependent on the type of storage, so cache-mediated data access, multi-protocol storage service, and also a support dedicated to synthetic data generation, which is becoming more and more important in these days. Horizontal services, by this we mean the comprehensive support for AI research and innovation. For example, high-level support for developing AI on HPC, and this goes from the support on pre-training, continuous learning, domain adaptation, fine-tuning, building, retrieval augmented generation services or pipelines, doing model compression and optimization. If you then have to go for inference on an infrastructure that is different from the one where you have done your training, agents, and more. And here we have already a lot of experience from what is the support that we have seen coming in the past month. Of course, we foresee the fast deployment. We want to support the fast deployment of AI frameworks and pipelines. We are working to on-premise model hub so that the transfer of the checkpoints of models, at least the ones that are more commonly used, will be avoided. We are providing federated learning as a service, but also services related to testing of models. And testing goes from stress testing them for prototyping for inference, A/B testing, but also security assessment related to regulatory compliance. So there will be a family of services fully dedicated to support for regulatory compliance and access to regulatory sandboxes that will go really from compliance by design, so at the designing stage till the inference and production phase. For vertical services, as you heard, it's AI solution and support to accelerate research and innovation in 4 sectors. And for these 4 sectors, we do internal development of large-scale sector-specific open source models that will be released to the ecosystem. We will also do management of high-quality sectorial data sets that are compliant with European regulation. We will do refinement and development of services based on the large-scale models that will be developed, and also support the users to do development of customized AI services on these 4 verticals, and in general, the support to develop services on these 4 domains. For example, if a user is looking for a dataset and doesn't know where to look for, we will support on that. And finally, we have the training. It's a comprehensive offer that includes the setup of a learning platform where the users will find, for example, live remote sessions, pre-registered courses that the users can do at self-paced speed. We will organize hackathons, face-to-face courses, advanced schools for different type of users. We will also provide internship in the organizations of the consortium, live question and answer with the experts, and so on and so forth. So we are putting together a very comprehensive offer. So I really have few take-home messages. So what is new is that we have new opportunities available for SMEs and startups to access AI-optimized HPC resources at the national and the EU level. The European calls are already open. For the national calls, they will be open very soon. We are working extremely hard for that, and we are targeting the beginning of June to open the national part of our supercomputer, which is split 50-50. Developing AI models and AI-powered services will become easier thanks to this comprehensive ecosystem of tools, infrastructure, and also expert support. And of course, the services, particularly those involving expert consultancy, are already available. So already the users that are applying today for the European call can ask for the support services that are attached to the use of the infrastructure. So as of now, you can follow us on LinkedIn. We have a courtesy page that is ready. We just need to really fix a couple of things. I hope it will be already online today, and I'm sorry that it could not be online already for this webinar. But you can follow us on LinkedIn, where we will post all the updates. And this is the list of promoters, other participating member states that were together with Italy in the funding for the new infrastructure, and also the partner of the consortium. And I thank you very much for the opportunity to present.
Laura, thank you so much for that. And thank you for mentioning the point that all our systems are open, both for the European route and the national route. That's a very important point, so thank you for mentioning that. So as Laura said, Leonardo and the Italian AI Factory is open for business. Let's hear now from our colleagues very far north in Helsinki. Alexi, are you there? This feels a bit like Eurovision. It really does. Lumi is our system right in the north of Europe, and Alexi will present what is going on in the Lumi AI Factory. Just one last little point, just to point out that the Leonardo system is also, the consortium is also made up of Austria and I think Slovenia, if I saw that. That's very useful to know. Lumi is a consortium of 5 different countries, and maybe Alexi can talk about that a little bit too. Thank you. Alexi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hope you can hear me.
We can, and we can see you. Perfect.
Okay, very good. And you can see my slides as well.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Very good. So, very excited to talk to you. My name is Alexi Kallio. I'm from CSC, and I'm directing Lumi AI Factory service development. And well, basically this Lumi AI Factory has been my life for like half a year now. So happy to be talking first time for this big European audience today. And when we started to think about this AI Factory a long time ago already, and then writing the plans last autumn, like we realized, okay, this is something that needs to really be something exceptional. Like we are finding a way for Europe to change the path, and the AI factory should really provide something that is impactful enough to kind of help AI sovereignty in whole of Europe. So let's see what we have been thinking of. And well, it was a lot of work, but luckily in October in Finland, when you look outside of the window, you're actually happy to be inside and writing your application. So Lumi AI factory, we think that like it's exceptional in quite many ways. So well, first of all, it's three things as AI factories can be. So it's an AI optimized supercomputer called Lumi AI that will arrive later. Then it's the AI factory service center. We call it service center just for the clarity. So that's kind of the part of AI factory that provides services for users, training, expert support, and so on. And that's running as of now. And then finally, there's a third component, experimental platform, which is a quantum computing platform based on European technology, and that will also arrive later. And with the total budget of over 600 million euros, this is of course a serious step up in AI computing capacity, like for Lumi consortium, but then I hope for whole of Europe. And with Lumi, we have a consortium of 6 countries, so Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, Norway, Poland, and then Finland as a coordinator. So and all of these countries have already collaborated in Lumi consortium. So we believe that this is like a really strong basis for developing the services. And of course, some additional countries are looking to join us, and then so we hope to grow the consortium even further. We started the project already in March, and then official public launch was 2nd of April. So we've been kind of on business since then, and already provisioning services. So the first company cases are up and running right now that kind of came as a result of the launch event. And yes, timeline. So as mentioned, Lumi AI factory runs today on Lumi, which is still the largest of the operational systems today and will remain sizable for the foreseeable future. And then we are procuring a new system, Lumi AI, that's also now ongoing to procurement. And of course, the kind of the timelines will pretty much reflect the timelines of the next generation of GPUs. And then the service side of things, the AI factory itself is operational. So we started, launch was 2nd of April, and hopefully, of course, we'll run this then alongside the Lumi AI system to distant future. And then finally, the experimental platform, the Lumi IQ system will also arrive next year. And just to mention that now that we are building on existing Lumi system, so we have quite a lot of things that already exist. The environments are there, the AI tools are available, and of course people have been running AI workloads for years already, and we also have the training courses and lightweight computing environments to support teaching and self-learning. But yeah, now you've heard that AI factories are a one-stop shop, and that's indeed true. But then our thinking is that it's not only that. So we don't try to be only a one-stop shop. Of course, we are a one-stop shop. So we have a comprehensive service portfolio coming from large consortium, large project, and of course a track record from Lumi. So we know we have some experience on how these services are run and how to also integrate them. But the thing is that we also think that we should not act as a one-stop shop always. So we should not be the only one, the only kid around the block, because we realize that with AI, there's already so many networks and so much activity. So there's so many other one-stop shops available out there. So when we show up, our intention is not to kind of use our sheer size to kind of overrule everything else, but instead we see that we want to collaborate with all of the AI networks and communities that already exist. So there are incubators that we are talking to. startup accelerator programs. Of course, the EDICs will kind of have contracts on collaboration with them, and also part of some of them. Testing facilities, then there are many challenges organized for AI. Of course, AI campuses around the consortium countries, hack labs, many sectoral communities or industrial communities that are already doing this kind of work. So we want to be kind of first-class citizen in all of these. And to get there, the idea is that, okay, we need to have very well-packaged service products. So that's not maybe something that HPC centers have been traditionally excelling at, but this is something where we now are putting a lot of effort to. So to make products that are kind of well-defined and well understood by the users. So of course, easy to approach, but then also easy to integrate into other contexts. So maybe some network might need only a little bit of AI factory support. Then we have some services that they can use. We don't have to come with our full shop, but they can kind of easily pick understandable pieces and make them kind of integral part of their work. So this way we hope to have scalability, because we cannot run all those networks ourselves. So we want to really go and play with others. And kind of to describe this, so example, someone in our consortium country is running an AI campus and some hackathon. For these kind of things, we can easily provide computing data platforms. Then maybe one of the better teams wants to continue. They have some great idea. They join a startup incubator that happens to be our collaborator. So there we can provide, well, more computing and data platform, of course, but then also help them in the AI methods, evaluate the technical feasibility together with the incubator people, so that kind of the idea matures further from there. And then maybe a startup company is set up to create a minimum viable product. We can help in sourcing large data to build their actual models and also make it available on the platform if it's like very sensitive or otherwise access or has difficult access conditions. And then finally, maybe the company joins an accelerator program to really get into the market, and there we can then help with consultation efforts on the technical questions like scalability, compliance questions to help them get to the market. So this is the idea that we will hopefully show up throughout the kind of path that the one idea, one group of users might take when they work with different AI networks and communities. Then about services. So of course the services are wide and many, so I will not go into much detail. They cover compute data and talent as AI factories do, and there are some extra efforts to maybe pinpoint something that would have a special value in European context. So services for talent, we of course run the training online on site, consult on AI readiness of the companies and users, have starter packs, run interventions to kind of help AI adoption in companies. Then we do have a co-working space, and the idea is that would be especially interface to early innovators, so like students and early phase startups like that are really cannot put much effort into it, but can show up in a co-working space and be helped in there. And then we are also part of the regulatory sandbox work, so trustworthy AI and compliance are something that we consult also on. And maybe one specific thing here is that the training program is organized as a modular training program, building on one existing Nordic collaboration on this kind of training regime. So the idea is that for many things we go training first. We have a modular training program that can be easily integrated into some network or some community. And then some part of that comes from our side, and then some from their side. And this way we can kind of scale up the training activities, because as you know, training is not always so easy to scale to larger numbers of participants. Then another side of services is the data. So there we run on rich data environment, so cloud-like environment, data catalogs, data space integration, and then also support team for data, so helping on the kind of administrative things, data access, negotiating data access if needed with data owners, helping in the compliance side, and then also on the practicalities like data wrangling and other not so exciting topics. And of course, here the idea is to really build on a European competitiveness and European assets by having solutions for sensitive and confidential data, because data we have in Europe and in all countries. But now the question is that how do you bring that to HPC, especially if it's about medical data? And as our consortium partners, CSC and others, have been building these sensitive data platforms for a long time. So here we are really basically bridging the gap and bringing these sensitive data environments to really large scale HPC. Another thing to mention is datasets as a service. The idea is that we provide some datasets, those that are really worth it. So high impact datasets, exclusive, not available otherwise because of the big size or because of the access kind of restrictions. So have some datasets that really are important enough for users to come to the data. And then finally, streaming data support is also important addition, as we are working with topics like 6G, edge, autonomous vehicles, and so on, which are some of the actually the European also competitive edges are found on here, and it's important that AI Factory is really also connected to these ecosystems and these industries. And then finally, the computing side. Of course, here we are looking for really large scale, so globally leading AI computing platform, and the globally leading meaning that we have the largest budget and also effective operational costs. So we really hope to have a platform that makes a difference and maybe kind of approaches the gigafactory scale of things, helping those European projects that really need really large capacity, like Open EuroLLM, the language model project that we are also involved in. It's offered shared or dedicated depending on the need, and of course supports confidential computing, has the machine learning operations environment, cloud integrations, APIs, fast lanes for startup companies to get access to big capacity, and then integration to AI regulatory sandboxes. Few picks. So AI inference service, we see that this is very important for future AI, like not for the production only, but also for development. So much of the model building nowadays, when you talk about the frontier models, involves some kind of feedback, and an AI inference service is needed to run the inference side of things. So this is important to be kind of up to speed also in the next wave of frontier AI models. Then we also help to accelerate the adoption, so make it easy for users to get started with self-service environment documentations, and also developing AI assistants. So basically kind of chatbots and more integrated help tools that are there 24/7 and hopefully can help in many issues that you might face when you are starting up. And then finally, now gathering speed for the quantum race. So this is a technological competition that is still very much ongoing, and Europe is well positioned. So we really hope that building a European technology and integrating it to this very large AI platform will create a very exceptional platform for AI quantum computing challenges, and also boost the kind of the competitiveness of the whole continent. System architecture, quickly run through. So we have the different partitions. GPUs are, of course, the priority and the largest part. We can divide per user, so give users full access to partitions. We also have multiple partition and the quantum computing capacity integrated. different storage systems to support that. And what's most important is that we build the ability to slice and dice. So kind of separate different kind of environments for users. So if we can provide environment for some large European projects, if they need dedicated environment with full access to software stack, or we are also thinking of providing this to some software companies, so they could basically provide their software stacks on this platform, and then so that the users can use the capacity that they have been kind of getting through AI Factory, but on a software stack that is not ours, but someone else's. And this way help the European software companies in this sense. So as a final conclusion, what we are doing, well, of course, we are enabling frontier AI models, which is one of the big tasks of AI Factory, having enough supercomputing capacity that you can actually work on those kind of models, and then also having a big consortium so that we can really provide deep tech support and expertise from different fields of life and different topics. Then secondly, comprehensive services. So we have a wide service portfolio. It's been up and running, parts of it already, and we are building it up all the time. But then important is that we will woe it into user communities and industrial ecosystems, so that you don't have to always come to us, but we can also come to users. And then finally, there are some handpicked services on sensitive data, for example, that we think, and quantum computing, that we really think that are like competitive edges, and because they are important, we also have to take them into account and really put effort from the AI Factory side. And all this put together, I hope that we achieve our original goal of helping AI sovereignty in the consortium countries and then all of Europe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexi. And indeed, this is what it's all about, building a European ecosystem in AI, HPC and quantum, so that our users here in Europe can safely access services where they know that their data will be kept safe and confidential here in Europe. So thank you for raising that point. It's really appreciated. Our next speaker, and I'm really delighted, I'm going to move very quickly because we now need to keep on time, is Bastian. Bastian, are you there? Bastian is from HRLS, and he will present one of our new kids on the block in terms of HPC, the Hammerhai AI Factory in Stuttgart. You there?
I'm here, and I am sharing somewhere.
You are. We can see it. So please.
I can't see it. That's interesting.
Good.
Good. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for the introduction. We are pretty back in time, so I try to stick to my minutes. Don't worry. Being bluntly honest, it's hard to say everything in 10 minutes. So I try to just give you some teasers, because we just want people to get in contact with us. So it's much easier to give them some appetizers, and then let's say to tell them the nasty truth once we are there. So the Hammerhai one, yeah, as you said, it's a bit of we are a bit of a new kid on the block. We don't have the machine yet, but we already try to rock the community. And I will show you, let's say, what's currently ongoing, what's the plan, time scale, and especially how you can benefit from this, because I think that's why people are here. They want to benefit from what we are doing here, not just praise us for existing. So just to give you an overview, it's not only HLRS in this consortium, it's a consortium of 5 partners in Germany, which have all a good background in working not only with academia and industry, and that's why, let's say, we have really a focus here on industry, and the academia obviously is welcome as well. But for us, it was important because, as you've seen on the slides, there are 2 AI factories in Germany. One is in Jülich, which is, let's say, focusing really on the groundbreaking research stuff, and we, let's say, really have the background of all the partners in working with industry, having a secured environment already ready, even though the machine is not yet in there, but once it will be in there, everything will be fine. So certified environments, 27001 ISO and TSAX, which is for the automotive sector, very important. So it's no surprise that our main focus is really on end engineering, manufacturing, which is a bit of alienist global challenges, but we see this is something which is upcoming here. Still, we are open for others. So if you're interested to do something with us, simply contact us, and we just discuss if it fits or doesn't fit. And it's a simple talking is important, and then we see what works there. The experience what we have is not only, let's say, working with industry in terms of concepts of research projects or innovation activities, but we really have currently around 70 industrial customers doing production on the system, which means there's a certain level of trust. We have a mature ecosystem to handle business requests, not only security, but also, let's say, dealing with all aspects from, accounting up to access mechanisms, taking into account data protection, having secure data transfer services, etc. And this consortium is also heavily involved in other activities on European level with a focus on industry, like Accelerate Part 2, which is the Center of Excellence Engineering, or the FF Plus, which is also very interesting, especially for startups and SMEs, because there will be open calls to invite startups and SMEs to ask for funding for so-called business experiments and innovation studies, with a special focus also on AI here. So what we looked at our background and said, what do we expect as being the AI user requirements? And don't think this is set to stone. It's a starting point. For us, the important part is to interact with the users. So once we come, let's say, work with the users, we will identify new things which we did not probably think of, so we will realize them. But we want to be user-driven. This is very important. But let's say from our experience, we've seen that we have, let's say, some tasks on fine-tuning of pre-trained models, which is very important. Not the big training as a whole. Obviously, this is of interest as well. But we see industries also, in many cases, happy with having, let's say, a fine-tuning of pre-trained models. How to do the inference in production is very important. As we said, a secured environment, which is a challenge, to be honest, coming from HPC, because we are going into the area of virtualization, cloud-like access, etc., which is, I think, scary for each HPC system administrator. but we're used to this. So this is something which is, let's say, ongoing discussions with people blaming us, but we will succeed. Then the question is, how can we support migration from existing cloud workloads, let's say, going to HAMR High? We see currently a lot of interest, let's say, going away from the big hyperscalers to a system like ours. And even if it's not there, I think it could be full already. And we foresee that obviously we need the extended user support, and not only looking at, let's say, what happens then on the machine, but really having the whole life cycle. I come to this in some seconds. And onboarding of companies is, let's say, one thing we are very experienced in and very important, because it's not like here you have it, good luck with it. It's really we have to discuss and interact with the users. So this is the support services, and to be honest, it's too much to tell you everything here. But what you see here is that we say we have different kind of users. Some of them need digitalization, some are digitally ready, some are just ready to use it, some are ready immediately to use it. And we really want to address all of them. So in case you have no clue really how to do that, you're at the same point, right, as somebody who says, oh, I would like to test your resource A because it's very interesting for us to see this technology, but we know what we are doing. So from all sides, it's very important to be here. Data source identification is very important, all the data aspects there. We are working on setting up, let's say, mechanisms how to be able to at least anonymize industrial data, which companies are willing to share. So we're currently discussing with some partners outside of the consortium already, first onboarding aspects, etc. And important will be that each user and each commercial and non-commercial user will get assigned from our side a dedicated person. We call this concierge service that really accompanies them. So you're not left alone. You're not left alone with FAQs and finding something. We want to have the personal interaction here, because this helps a lot. So this is the entire life cycle. People might know it already, I guess. So it's really from data preparation, data analysis, data ingestion, the training, model training, evaluation, etc. Everything will be covered by us. Obviously, probably not from the beginning on, but we are currently building up the services. But we will see also where to focus at first thing. But always the big picture is in our minds. So as I said, machine is currently in procurement. Probably we should have taken 1 year of holidays waiting for the system to be there and then starting, but we are, let's say, a bit different. We want to, let's say, bother all the people with our excellence or non-excellent, let's see. I'm in the management level, so I can talk about non-excellence because that's why I'm in the management level, don't worry. But we are really pushing hard forward to get the system as quick as possible. We still hope to have the contract signature for the system at the end of this year. I know that some colleagues of the JU will hate me for having said this, but it's still an expectation we want to have. So pushing a bit will help us as well, or probably not, we see. And the first part, and we will go for a two-phase installation because we see that a first phase installation will be helpful to be, first of all, very quick up and running. Secondly, we will onboard here, and we don't probably need the whole system at the beginning. But once we have the users ready to scale up, then we will add let's say, a second phase to this, and we will be there fully operational. Currently, so yes, we don't have any EuroHPC machine yet, let's say in-house. We have the cooperation with the other EuroHPC hosting entities, especially those being an AI factory. And we also, let's say, have some own existing infrastructure, which is, let's say, we have then to deal with the national rules for the moment, but we see a good potential to be able to work on this. And the first year is for us mainly really in shaping the service environment, pushing forward, and really, let's say, doing proof of concepts and showing success stories. So about success stories, what we did already before the project even started, we worked together with a startup near Stuttgart. They are currently our, let's say, main, no, I wouldn't say advisor because they're just complaining. And they would hate me for saying this as well. But they show us really that it's different to onboard a startup and onboard the AI community than the HPC ones. So we learned a lot already now. We did with them, let's say, some training on the AMD MI300A, which is an existing system in here, which people usually say, oh, it's hard to do AI there. We said, okay, still we want to know how it works out. And this was some kind of a pre-hammer high action to really validate first services, the service provisioning. And we have, let's say, some nice results, which is the Kafka LM. It helped them in their business. So they made a commercial service out of this. And they are happy. We can use this as a showcase, and we are happy. And if you're interested to see how this works, either contact us, contact them, or just drop somehow a message to the general public. We're working with them currently on a Gen AI platform for HAMA, a secure Gen AI platform, where we want to allow the hosting of AI models for inference. The important part is the cost-efficient and secure access. We want to have a local hosting. This is very important for many companies. So, and we are aware of this, and we push forward this partnership here. They have a certain level of, let's say, let's say the working idea than we have. So we are quite happy to for the moment, they look very prominent, but they are, let's say, open to challenge us every day, and I hope that some others will join soon to make our life harder. Another service which is currently in creation, and we will show a demo of this at the ISC 2025, is we are releasing soon an inference API, which is a simple API to talk to different open source models. Currently, there's a set of available models. You see them here. It's Llama, it's Phi, it's Gwen. And the idea is to give, let's say, some painless access to those which don't want to really have a complete understanding how CUDA works, how, let's say, the ROCm works, etc. It's OpenAI compatible, which is important. It will be a showcase for us, again, for the Hammer High users. They can play around for this. But the Seedbox will also do a commercial access, let's say, approach for that. And that's the thing where we want to go there. It should be not something which is nice and fancy and nobody knows how to use it. But we also want to encourage companies to work with us on their service. And if we can do this, we can also host them. That was the quick run through, let's say, conclusion. Obviously, even though we don't have the main infrastructure, the service operation started on the 1st of April. Onboarding of collaborators is ongoing. As I said, we are not limited to the 5 partners here, and we want to be open. So we are currently having a lot of discussions with other entities providing services, but also with the users, which might then provide services to other users. We want to publish continuously success stories, also to show you that it's not only that we are not talking, just really, but also, let's say, delivering here. The ecosystem which we have is ready to work with industry and academia on a most professional level. And we are ready to help you to tackle your challenges. And if you want to contact us, obviously there's a homepage, a web page, There's a LinkedIn account, it's a Blue Sky account. Over the website, you can get in touch with us. Or if you're really brave, you directly send me an email and I will, let's say, either forward it to my colleagues or I will answer myself, depends on how much I want to doom you. So please feel free just to contact us. There's no question which is, let's say, stupid or something. It's just, let's say, the bad questions are the ones which are not asked. And we are happy to support you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bastian. Thank you for giving us a snap view on the services to come at Hammer High. And it's as everybody can see, with your capacity to onboard industrial projects will be very valuable in the future. So thank you for that. And the JU will try and help you procure the system as quickly as possible within reason.
Thank you.
I had to say that to defend my colleagues. I will now, I'm delighted to move on to Eric. Eric Lindau, are you there? Eric is there. So Eric is going to talk to us about the MyMaya factory, which will be located in Sweden. And while he's talking, hello, are you there? Oh, yes, that's.
I think you can see my screen too, right?
I can see everything, but that's
awesome.
Fine. While we were, there you go. Eric is coming on board. So just to remind you, if you've got any questions for Bastian, for Alexi, for Lara, please don't hesitate to put them in our Q&A chat and they will be happy to respond. And if they can't, we'll make sure they get your questions directly. Eric, thank you for joining us this morning. Great to see you.
Thank you so much, Josephine.
I
know we're short of time, so I will get started right away.
Go ahead.
I will try to avoid repeating many of the great things that have been done here. Most of the things we have in common throughout the European continent here. And then many of these factories have slightly different profiles. So I was asked to comment on a few things where Sweden might have chosen a different path. So Sweden, as so many other countries, have long been doing investments in AI primarily on the research side. And that's why we chose to become part of this network. The special situation in Sweden is that we've had a major foundation called the Wallenberg Foundation that has long invested in the network in academia. And our idea with this AI factory is really to expand this network so that we can also get industry to benefit from this, similar to what we've done with some very large dedicated academic systems in Sweden before. Now, one of the important lessons for us in Sweden on the academic side is that we really benefited from setting up dedicated AI systems. That is not HPC, only AI, and AI. And certainly focusing extensively on training and everything, but really creating AI first system. And that's also the reason why we're thinking of deploying Mimer as an AI only system, actually in parallel to this Arena system coming online now in the next few months, that is going to be a traditional HPC focused system. So the basis for this is a long-term 10-year research proposal in Sweden called WASP that I won't tell you about in this presentation. But the reason for this background in Sweden, this is embedded in a program we're educating a bit over 600 PhDs, industrial PhDs. We have 1,500 scientists in this network, and we also have an extension network between academia and industry in Sweden. And our idea with this AI factory is to be able to contribute this environment and expand this throughout the European continent. Now, to achieve this, we did one major change. Instead of going for the traditional academic only side that runs the infrastructure that I'm chairing, we decided to team up with RISE, which is the Research Institutes of Sweden. They have very successfully been our partner in the EuroHPC competence centers in Sweden and onboarded a ton of small startups. And for the service side of things, we're dividing this equally between RISE and Linköping University. So we're going to run this as one large joint service hub, but where most of the focus is actually on the public sector and SMEs. And then we're bringing in the academic researchers on the side there. Now, in contrast, we're going to try to de-emphasize the focus on getting GPU hours. You certainly will be able to get GPU hours here, but we will not have any queue system or everything. But we want to focus us on the whole onboarding process, getting customers or users or whatever we call them to talk to an expert, ingest their data, develop their models, be able to actually test the models, both for performance, but also regulatory frameworks and tests, and then being able to provide resources so that you can also both deploy and serve these models through an inference infrastructure. partly based on the major programs going on in Sweden and Sweden's national strength. The vertical focus areas we've chosen are first life science, where Sweden is making very major investments. Second, autonomous systems, which is partly robotics, but also self-driving vehicles anything related to control of physical systems, really, which is also very hot overall in AI. Our third area is material sciences, in particular with the industry in Sweden creating better steels or alloys or so. And the fourth area, which might be a bit surprising, it's the gaming industry, which is one of the areas where I would argue Sweden is leading in Europe, and that it's a very, very data-intensive industry nowadays. What Mimer is going to access is, like so many others, access to supercomputing infrastructure. We're going to put a lot of emphasis on the training and workforce education, though, and really getting these expert networks, so that Sweden is not among the largest hardwares, but relative to the hardware, I think we're probably one of the largest service hubs. We're going to have close to 50 people working on the service hub, so it's roughly half the budget. We will have very close connection to the people in Sweden who are developed the TEFs and the regulatory sandboxes. And that also means that we're going to focus heavily on both storage of data, but also supporting sensitive data and being able to be fully on top of all the privacy requirements and everything. And we too have a fairly long tradition of handling this, in particular in life sciences in Sweden. Now, the AI Factory Service Hub has already started. We too started in the beginning of April. We have onboarded the 10 first customers. Most of them are from industry, actually. One small challenge there is that we do not yet have dedicated AI hardware in Sweden. For some of them, we've been able to use existing resources in Sweden. For other customers, we're using hardware in EuroHPC. That is possible now. And as Josephine and others presented, there is an extensive network where you will be able to get short and quick access to the existing EuroHPC sites. And then by next summer, roughly a year from now on, we will have dedicated new AI hardware in Sweden. And I'm going to spend just a few slides telling you a little bit about that, and perhaps mostly about how it might differ from the other interfaces. Because we have a separate resource for HPC, this is going to be a pure cloud and container interface. You will not have a home directory. You will not be able to log in directly to the Mimer hardware. We're going to have a native multi-tenancy, and it's also going to be GPU support for GPU partitioning. And we will also enable you to have pure API access to your models. The framework or the pipeline we're thinking is that we're going to have a separate partition for data ingestion, really focusing on putting things on either, first high performance NVMe object storage during training, but then also creating data repositories, data lakes, where, as so many other factors have talked about, we will be able to host your data at least medium term in this factory. There is going to be a fairly large partition of GPU nodes with many GPUs. Exactly how many GPUs depends on the procurement, but that's going to be focused on training, in particular mid-range training. We're not aiming for 50,000 GPUs, but enough that you should be able to do all your medium range needs at least. Since this is the AI only, that a large and important part is actually focused on having a complete model repository, both of your models, but also a microservices and feature store, so that every single model available internationally, you should be able to access instantly in this factory and deploy in 30 seconds on the last but not least important part here, which is really a set of mid-range GPU nodes dedicated for inference and rapid web deployment. And that's also where we're going to handle regulatory framework compliance. As I mentioned, this is going to be an AI-only system, fully focused on on-demand interactive access. It will be possible to schedule jobs for background execution, but you will have to do so through Kubernetes or other Kubernetes interfaces. I expect that by using GPU partitioning, we will be able to offer upwards of 10,000 instances if you have small instances. Microservice is going to be important. Very rapid model deployment, in particular, because we're gonna try to ensure that we always have some resources free if you don't need tens of thousands of them at least. You will be able to work with sensitive data. To avoid restricting the hardware too much, we will likely limit that to virtual machines, or at least not, for obvious reason, not allow multi-tenancy between different users when you're working with sensitive data. And as I mentioned, that this is going to be a container-first system, and then if absolutely necessary, you can run virtual machines. There will not be any home directories, no login, no queue systems. If you're an HPC user, you might not be comfortable with that, but I think many AI users will love it. We're going to have a number of top-end multi-GPU nodes for LLM training, some high-performance NVMe optic storage, but in particular, a fairly large data lake, and also be able to host these community data sets that the community has deemed are important. We will be able to host for the lifetime of the resource. If you have a large data set that you and maybe a few other users need, we will be able to host that for the duration of your training at least. The regulatory environment is an important part, and we're going to have dedicated staff that help you both with the regulatory testing and business model development if you need. And there is going to be plenty of, first we will have our own data spaces, and we're also going to have links both to the EDI8s and the EOSCs, and we wrote a number of letters of support for them already. When it comes to the timeline here, we together, I think the EuroHPC made the decision yesterday or any day now to open the competitive dialogue procurement for the MEMR system. We expect contract signing in fall 2025, installation first quarter next year, and then hopefully acceptance Q2 and user access summer 26. So this is going to be an intense process for everyone involved. And yeah, there might be a slip here of a month or so. It's not because anybody is lazy, because EuroHPC is doing a fantastic work procuring all these a dozen machines in parallel. But in the meantime, we will, any day now, we will have an announcement of the hardware that's going to be present in Arrhenius already from January. And I know that that's hardware going to be amazing for AI workloads too. So obviously you will be able to use that for your AI work much earlier too. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I can take any questions you have in the chat.
Thank you so much for bringing us back on time, Eric. Very, very grateful to you, and thank you for presenting that. So the key message is we've got systems up and running you can access today, and we've got new systems coming down the road, which will be even more powerful, more dedicated to your needs in the next months/years. Last but not least, I would like our colleagues from Meluxina to come online. Now, I'm hoping this is a double act, Valentin, and I warn you, you really only have 10 minutes because Valentin and I work quite closely together, and we know we want to try and keep things on target. Valentin and Felipe are both from Meluxina. Meluxina is our home supercomputer here in Luxembourg. Valentin, are you starting, or will it be Felipe, please?
It will be me starting, Josephine. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone from Luxembourg. So my name is Philippe Pais, and I'm the Chief Customer Officer of LuxProvide. And I will give you some background about our AI factory. So LuxProvide, since it was set up in 2019, we decided to have an approach towards industry and science. And with that in mind, we decided to deploy our infrastructure on a sovereign and secure data center tier 4 and certifying LuxProvide by the ISO 27001. And well, our experience working with industry for more than 3 years and engaging so far more than 100 commercial customers from startups to large enterprise, we have been building expertise in different digital initiatives within our ecosystem. So being partner of the Banker Association on digital innovation, working with all the startup incubators and accelerators locally, developing programs for startups, or even working with the Space Agency and the Industrial Association to build and advise industries on using supercomputing, but also developing AI and data projects. So when we set up the AI factory, we bear in mind that we needed to bring all these expertise and knowledge from the market to help us to build this ecosystem and also providing the right services. So we built a consortium with LuxProvide, where we will have providing the services to the platform, but also we brought to the consortium the Innovation Agency from Luxembourg that will basically help to build the ecosystem, but also helping companies to have access to funding or even promoting the factory, bringing the university to help us to bring training and access to training to the companies, the LIST, which is a research institute that will also bring the expertise on AI development, but also AI sandboxes. And finally, LNDS, so the Luxembourg National Data Services, that will support companies on everything that is data processing, data requirement, or even regulatory expertise. But that was not enough, because that was the consortium members that will bring, let's say, the expertise, horizontal expertise. We need also to bring partners to bring the sectorial expertise. So, and for the 4 sectors that we are focusing, which is finance, green economy, cybersecurity, and last but not the least, space, we also brought to the team, so the LOFT, which is the Luxembourgish House of Fintech, to provide expertise on fintech and regtech, the Luxembourg Space Agency to provide expertise on Earth observation, but also on space data, providing access to their data lakes on space data, the Luxembourg House of Cybersecurity to bring expertise on cyber, and finally the list to bring expertise on green economy, mobility, and energy. But we also wanted to ensure that everybody that joins the Luxembourg AI Factory can have an AI continuum. So we also will build partnerships with 2 local sovereign cloud providers to help to build the bridge between what is developing AI and then putting AI in production. And last but not the least, Technoport, which is one general startup hub that will basically help us to connect with all the local accelerators and incubators. And like everybody, well, our mission will be, from one side, building awareness, training and skills, building the community, but also, supporting any customer that knocks on our door on the customer journey, and finally providing them access to the platform, which will be Meluxin AI. So, this is not moving. Okay. So, well, the goal of the Luxembourg AI Factory will be, as the other ones already mentioned, to be a one-stop shop for AI services. So a customer will come to the AI Factory, and depending of one side, on the stage of the customer journey, on the other side, the maturity, the AI Factory will lead the customer across the different services that the partners of the consortium will provide. So if it is data advisory that the customer needs, we will route them to LNDS. If it is consulting advisors, we will route them to the university or to the list. If they need training or they need to understand what is the skill gaps that they have with what they have today and what they need to have in the future, we will guide them to the trainings available. If it is access to the platform, so we will also provide the access through the Meluxin AI. But also, and to ensure that the community is live and dynamic, Lux Innovation, which is the innovation agency, beside helping the customers being guided through all these services and partners, will have a program to create awareness within the local ecosystem. So we have already today a live site available where the customers can already come and understanding in which journey they are. So if we are still discovering what will be AI for the company and what kind of benefits they can have, they can here immediately on the website access what is available, but also if they want to get ready, so basically understanding what kinds of skills they need to develop or with whom they need to connect to have more information, or in the end, if they want to start implementing, so with data and AI expertise or even access to the platform. And with that said, I will now give the stage to Valentin, who will talk about our platform.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you all. So I'm very pleased to say that we have a computing capacity as a backbone for the AI Factory in operation immediately. The AI Factory for Luxembourg started in April, as you have seen for other AI factories. We have the existing Meluxina supercomputer with quite powerful GPU-based AI computing power available immediately. This has enabled us also, as soon as EuroHPC launched the access tracks dedicated for AI innovation purposes, to already host companies from Europe that are doing high-end AI. In fact, they're actually working on projects related to the space sector, which is very much linked to the targets for the Luxembourgish AI Factory. And to reinforce a few messages, we have always meant that the computing facilities in Luxembourg are in fact, well, sovereign, trusted, and secure. And this was translated from the launch time of the machine, of our original machine, and it will be exactly the same for the new platforms that we will be building. So just a few highlights for Meluxina to reinforce what Philippe has already mentioned. It is deployed in tier 4 data centers, the most highly resilient data centers that can be built. We are an ISO 27001 certified organization, and all of our platforms are under this certification umbrella. The computing capability of the machine is quite high. Out of the original systems installed in the EuroHPC network, it was one of the most powerful ones. We have quite a lot of space for high-end data storage with high-performance characteristics. So building data pools is already, for different kind of projects, is already possible right now. And we have an ever-evolving software ecosystem for all kinds of applications, but we are focusing a lot on deploying new kind of AI applications today, and they have already been presented, in fact, in training scenarios during a pan-European event that we have hosted in April, which was the Synergy 2025 event. Now, what we are building next is actually taking all the bases that we already know, where we already have experience with commercial companies in working, and we are taking this to the next level, being extremely ambitious, of course, in terms of the computing capacity that will be available for AI projects, from training to fine-tuning to inference applications in a secure environment with cloud-native interfaces, with compute and data bridges such that you can link your own private environments to our system and you do private AI computing in a very safe way, with a very rich software stack for developing AI, but also for executing AI at scale, and all of this taking advantage of the foundations, which are having a data center in a tier 4 arrangement where the supercomputer is deployed, supercomputer with components in 2 data centers, in fact, to take advantage of people that will want to implement their own services close to the supercomputer and be linked through internal network directly into the supercomputer environment, and having this machine also extremely well connected to the all European networks, being a hyper-connected supercomputer that is accessible from anywhere. On the software side, I want to reinforce the message that this will not be a traditional HPC machine, but it's really meant to be a next generation AI optimized supercomputing environment. That means that those secure processing environments will allow us to deploy a custom environment for a user tenant. That user tenant will have direct access to run Kubernetes kind of platforms where they will be in charge of their own software stack, and where solution providers, including partners in the Luxembourg AI Factory, will be able to pilot their own services that is exposed to a specific user or user community, taking advantage of the internal data lakes and the external data lakes that will be connected into the supercomputing environment. For the software ecosystem, we will have immediate access to tools that are meant for AI development, but people can, all kinds of users can bring their own tools, commercial or open source, as they may be, into this environment and run as they are in their own environment or in public cloud environment. And all of this is being prepared for today. We have launched the procurement as one of the first 2 procurements for this kind of machine, Meluxina AI, with the aim of it being operational already next year. But the Luxembourg AI Factory is open. I thank you for your attention, and if for any questions or wishes to know more or to already start using us, you can go to the website that is linked ahead. So the aifactory.lu, very simple way to access us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Felipe and Valentine, it's great to see you on the same screen. Thank you both very, very much for that tour d'horizon of the Luxembourg ecosystem and how it connects up to the rest of our ecosystem. Officially, we now have a break, but I think I'm going to keep going because I think we've got a really good momentum now. And I would like to move on to the sort of third part of our webinar this morning. And this is to give you 2 success stories and some information about another service that's being developed for AI users in Europe. So if Jean-Gabriel, if you're ready, could we hear from you about an example of how you use one of the EuroHPC systems for your AI project, and give us a little bit of an idea of how it went and what were the key learnings that you got from it? Jean-Gabriel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can you present?
Yeah, could I?
You're not.
I did it, but okay, it just stops when I start presenting.
I think it's because you're accessed as a participant, not as a speaker. I'm just looking at my colleagues to see if they can confirm that. Okay, can we give Jean-Gabriel access, or does he have to rejoin as a speaker?
He should be able to present.
You should be able to present. Thank you, Bea. Jean-Gabriel, can you try again?
Yep, still the same issue.
Okay, if you quickly ping us the presentation, we can present for you. And while we're doing that, maybe I move on to the next speaker, which is Javier, and see if you can do it, and then we can sort out the technical aspects behind the scenes. Javier, are you there? Javier, I thought I saw you rejoin. You're there. And you, no, Maxine. Okay, I'm confusing everybody. We are able to present Jean-Gabriel's presentation. Jean-Gabriel, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, everybody. So I can't see my slide, but if you saw them, it's quite okay. I'm able to present. I should share it, right?
No, we're actually showing your slides directly with my colleague. So you can already start the presentation talking if you want, and just ask for next slide when you're ready. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I can do it. So hi, everybody. So I'm here to present the Black Mamba project, which was an early experiment of the Commission before the AI factories were really taking place. And so I'm here to say, like, represent the user and what was the experience doing all that. So if we can move to the slide on Linguage Studia. So Linguage Studia is a company it's a French-based company, which we have been here for a little bit more than 15 years. So we have quite a long experience in training AI models. Originally, we were training translation models. Our three core values are like, we want to train specialized model, sovereign model, and frugal, because we are in Europe. So it's a crucial aspect of it. So
Jean-Gabriel, we've lost you. Are you there? No, he's gone.
Yeah.
You're back.
I'm back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Where were they? Where did it cut?
So it cut about the fact that you need because it's a European project, and you need a sovereign cloud to develop it.
So, because I can't see the slide right now, is it on Linguage Studia or on Black Mamba project?
Linguage Studia.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, three core value. We want to train specialized model, sovereign in terms of technology and compute capacity, and also frugal, and put a lot of focus on efficiency, both in the training and in the inference. So next slide, please. So basically, the Black Mamba project, the goal is to train the foundation models, which is an LLM. Here I'm going to talk about GenAI mostly, And I know that AI factories are a lot more for than Gen AI, but yeah, it will be the focus of the presentation. And our goal is to train a foundation model which is 2.5 times faster to use, and with the same hardware you can serve like 4 times more people, because we have a quite reduced KV cache. And so yeah, the goal also is to have a very competitive model. So we have been doing a lot of research on that part. At the end of the slide, you can see all the paper and the architectural change we implemented. The list is quite long, but yeah, we're quite happy with that. The model will be declined in 3 sizes: the 3 billion model, the 7 billion model, and the 34 billion model. And for that project, we were awarded 2 million hours on Leonardo HPC in Italy that was presented earlier today. So next slide. So basically, what we successfully did was, like, what we want to achieve is to create a kind of a DeepSeek moment for Europe, where we could have like actors that are able to train leading AI models with a lot less computational resources, and so we achieve comparable performance compared to GPT Llama standard implementation with only 20% of the flops. So we are very happy with this result. You can see on the right that it also translates into some benchmark about language modeling and recall, which is usually the weak points of hybrid architecture. And currently, the 3 billion models is in training, and yeah, that's our experiment so far. So next slide. So now I'm going to take more an overview of the project and what we learn, and what could be useful for you as 108 people remaining in the meeting. So as Leonardo is only like 4A100 with 64 gigabytes of VRAM, which is quite nice. But by today's standard, it starts to be a little bit low in terms of VRAM per node. So what we usually do when we do experiments, almost everybody use data parallelism, which is a way you copy the model on each GPU, and you split the data and you train on all the models simultaneously. But here, when you want to scale that, you really need to put a lot more engineering to add other way of parallelism. And so basically the most standard way are tensor parallelism and interleaved pipeline parallelism. The first one being the more efficient one, and the second one being introducing some issue in terms of computational efficiency. So I would recommend anybody that doesn't know about this concept to read the Ultrascale notebook by Face, which is a very great resource to start. And as Leonardo is a NVIDIA-based NVIDIA GPU, we used Megatron LM to implement our new architecture, and we have been able to achieve great results in terms of TFLOP per GPU at scale. So basically, I will still recommend that if you are training on NVIDIA GPU, because it's really only for NVIDIA. It's possible to have the slide about data transfer. So our experience with data transfer was pretty smooth. There is the network for data transfer is very good, and it's very stable. Basically, the process was quite simple. You had to whitelist some data mover IP, and then add an SSH config, and then I gave you the command because that part was a bit tricky. So if anybody one day is training, want to transfer something on Leonardo, I will suggest using that command because this one works, and I made a way to make that work. So if you can save time to anybody, please use it. Next slide, please. So as we all know, GPU are still unstable hardware. It's still very difficult to make a very stable configuration. So you need to expect crashes, and you also need to prepare for them, especially in so as you can see, the project is quite ambitious, and so we want to train on a lot of GPU, and we are running into network issue, which is known. I know that everybody is doing their maths on this side, and next generation system probably will be a lot more stable in that part, because it's quite unique to AI to have those kind of intra-nodes load communication. And yeah, a little tips in the Slurm command, you can ask for a closed node, and this improve performance and reliability. Basically, when you submit a job, you are allowed like 4 nodes, for example, and they can be distributed across the whole cluster, but you can also ask them to be located closely, and this will reduce the communication times and the number of switch and potentially the number of default you can encounter. And also, I would recommend that you always ask for some CPU time, or I know it's not very clear with the AI factories yet, but I think at some point you can convert some GPU time to some CPU time, and please use CPU to prepare the data. It's the thing I was not able to do with this project because we were not able to convert some GPU hour to CPU time. So I'm sorry for the Leonardo user. I'm using some GPU nodes to do some CPU task related stuff. But yeah, basically that's it. The next slide, if it can be displayed for a few seconds, is basically if you never did anything on a Slurm cluster, it's the way to go. You just like add those arguments to your scripts, to PyTorch script, and you should be able to make it run with data parallelism with just that. So it's quite easy. And next slide. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, and if you want to discuss parallelism strategy, I will happily try to answer that on my free time, which I don't have a lot, but you're still welcome to share it. And to conclude, I will say also that all our models will be open sourced, as the training code and the fine-tuning code. So I hope that someday those models will be fine-tuned inside an AI factory, and we will try to make it as easy for you as possible to get started to fine-tune anything on that subject. And thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Gabriel. Thank you so much for these really useful tips and tricks, and also for giving us some ideas of how not to waste valuable GPU time. I think that's really appreciated from this end. And it's a good question you ask about CPU, GPU swaps. And I'm sure I know colleagues in the JU can help on that question as well. Our second success story is from Javier Venema. Javier, are you there? And Javier will present the story of the Panacea Cooperative, which will also hopefully be useful for users out there. Now I can see, yes, okay. I cannot activate my mic or my camera. Can someone help Javier, please?
So from our side, Javier, we can see that your microphone is on and off. So you should be able to speak.
We can see your And we can see your screen as well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. So, well, thank you for the presentation. Well, I'm Javier Benema, an AI researcher at Cooperative Research, and as I say, I'm going to our case for facing approaches for facial reconstruction using internet. So first of all, I want to introduce a little bit of what Panacea. Well, Panacea is the only cooperative society that is specialized in artificial intelligence worldwide. And it arose as a spin-off of the University of Granada with the purpose of developing projects and products that had a great social impact and that focused on forensic applications. We are based in Spain at different offices, but our main office is at Granada, which is a city at the south of Spain. And there we have our research and development team, which is like 70% or 80% of the whole company. So it is our main activity. And we do this research and development with two different purposes. So on the one hand, we develop our own products in the field of forensic anthropology. So our main product is skeleton ID for the forensic identification of people from their human remains. And we also use that knowledge mainly on computer vision, 3D computer vision, and medical image processing to do some R&D consultancy projects. So regarding what we do, I already mentioned forensic human identification. This is the process of finding some human remains and determining to what person do they belong. So just to introduce a little bit of the concept and why it is important, I wanted to show this map with this data for missing people for different circumstances around the world. So for example, we have more than 60,000 people that have disappeared due to migration processes, more than 3 million people that are missing due to recent conflicts and organized crime, more than 7 million historical cases, for example, individuals from the Second World War, or more than 100,000 missing people from the Spanish Civil War. And we also have the everyday police work, for example, more than 50,000 cadavers are being identified using scientific methods every year in Europe. So as for how this is done, there are comparative methods such as craniofacial superimposition and forensic facial comparison, which are comparative methods, and these are the methods that we have mostly worked on from since we started the company. And now we wanted to use generative AI to shift to this reconstructive method that is craniofacial reconstruction or facial approximation, which is based on the process of recreating a face from a skull. So you take a skull as input and produce a face as an output through a combination of art, forensic science, anthropology, and anatomy. And so this process, as I said, has some science in it, based on studies that are based on different population and that have been made in the forensic field during many years. But it also has a part that is more related to art. So there is a high subjectivity, and the results are very dependent on the skill of the operator or of the researcher that is applying the method. So our take here is that AI can help reduce that subjectivity that is inherent to the method. So what I show right here was the state of the art when we first applied to the HPC access calls. So it is a conditional generative adversarial networks that receives a depth map of this call and produces a depth map of the corresponding face. And well, it has many details, but I don't have time to explain it all, so I just show that image. So our idea here is that using more direct 3D representations of data would benefit the prediction or the generation of that face from that skull. So we have two different takes in here. One of our takes is using the 3D models directly, so we can use the 3D meshes or 3D matrices that contain those meshes as input to the generative model. And we can also use combinations of 2.5D information, such as the depth maps, but also normal maps, as an input to a multi-view generative model. So for example, instead of the model that I showed before, right here we have a generative model that has multiple inputs. Each of those inputs is encoded into a latent space in some manner, and from the latent space we can reconstruct only a face. So the inputs would be different rotations of this code. So it is a more direct representation of that 3D information. Also, the generative model does not have to be a GAN, because we are also working with diffusion models, for example. But this is just for you to take the key idea. Okay, so our idea is using 3D information more directly, which is also much more complex. So we thought that we would need access to different HPC resources, let's say. So we applied to the FF+ Open Call for Innovation Studies. This is a call that offers a maximum of 200k euros and 10 months of project development. So our idea here is to apply to this call in order to be able to train those very complex models that we want to train. So in order to do that, I mean, we had like we wanted to do what we wanted to do was very clear to us. I mean, we knew that we wanted to train these models and these other types of models with these inputs and the other ones. So what was really difficult for us was to justify to the consortium that we really needed access to the HPC computing resources in order to get the grant and to do the project. So in the first stage, when applying for the access call, we first theoretically computed the time that we would need to run our experiments. So we just adapted that baseline model that I showed before to the 3D So the inputs are now 3D matrices instead of normal images. And we adjust the resolution for it to fit in 40 gigabytes of GPU RAM. And then we proposed what we wanted to do and obtained a number of 92 jobs that we needed to run at least, and computed just by matrix multiplication and all that stuff, how much time we needed for a forward through the network, which is 92.64 terafloating point operations. Considering all the experiments, data set, size, epochs that we needed to do, we concluded that we needed approximately 21 billion terafloating point operations, and that would take 4.33 years to run in the best GPU that we could access at the time. And it is not that much of that GPU not being very powerful, but that we could only access one GPU. So the key point here is that if you have access to the European HPC servers, you can access many GPUs at the same time. So that is the main advantage that it has. Okay, so by doing that, we obtained the grant, to say so, and we needed to apply to the access to the European HPC servers. So to do this, you first have to do a benchmark to get a more practical result on what your computation times and your computation requirements are. So we just applied to the benchmark call. When you apply to this benchmark call, you get access to some server. In this case, we asked for access for Mare Nostrum 5, since we are based in Spain, and it is based in Spain, and also it has GPUs with 64 gigabytes of VRAM, which was a bottleneck for us. And we just implemented this baseline model that I just explained and trained it with some synthetic data sets that were representative of the jobs that we would run during the project. And came to the conclusion that our biggest jobs would need 34 hours to run. So we did this, we did the benchmarks, and with that you can apply to the AI and data intensive applications access call. So you send the results of your benchmarks and your project and all, and you get a number of computation hours that's related to that data. So in our case, we get 30,000 computation hours. We have used 1,000 so far. We have more than 2,000 jobs to run within the project. And that's it from my side. So thank you very much. Here you have our social media and our website if you want to see more on what we do or contact us. And that's all. Thank you very much.
you very, very much. That was really interesting to see how you apply the systems to your project. These are 2 success stories to give a idea of your project. Also, if you get access to time on the AI factory, and gives you an experience of what can be achieved and what can be done, and the impact it can have on your business. So our last presentation for this morning, and I'm going to keep going because then we have maybe a little bit of time for questions, is a presentation from Joachim Koller on another European project called AI on Demand Platform, the Hub for AI Europe. And this is another service that's been developed by the European Union for AI users who are interested in getting access to our systems. So Joachim, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to present here the current version of the AI on Demand platform. And yeah, so also happy to hear from Javier before how AI is now applied. And I think this is a very good example. And first, a few words to my role. Yeah, here I'm, of course, coordinator of this project called Deploy AI. So Deploy AI and AI for Europe, our sister project, are realizing the AI on Demand platform. This is a hub for AI assets in Europe. And normally I'm at Fraunhofer, head of department for Gen AI, and also active in other European projects and initiatives. But for today, so I will concentrate here on bringing you the idea of the AI on Demand platform. So the question is, of course, what is the main purpose of the AI on Demand platform? And we all know that so we have so many research and innovation activities in Europe, which is great. But it's also a challenge to make them visible in a common way. And if you also go to the right side, the European industry, so we should be aware that at the end, the European industry should benefit from our research work in AI and related fields. And therefore, the platform really should help to canalize and to boost the usage of the research results. And especially if you look for the European startups, AI startup scene, maybe there's an estimation that there are 7,000 AI startups, SMEs in Europe. And if we now consider how many of these are knowing what we are doing in the European projects with the EDIHs, with the AI factories, with the tests, so we have to ensure that we reach most of these 7,000. And if we go a little bit beyond this AI startups, if we go to the software industry in Europe, to the consulting industry, they are not always aware of what we are doing in this innovation space. And the AI on Demand platform should help to make this transfer more visible, faster, and really to make it more efficient to bring this excellent European research to industrial applications. So what is the AI on Demand platform? So it provides several content services, provide information about assets, tools. You know. So the other area of the platform is a marketplace where we really provide access to AI, trustworthy AI application, AI tools, but also we provide a DevOps framework. We provide tools that users from the software industry can use European AI technology to build their own AI application and to deploy them in a secure and trustful AI environment. This means we have a common login mechanism, a single sign-in for different service for seamless open source e-commerce AI platform. So the 3 areas of the AI platform are the following. So we have a portal which mainly keeps a lot of information about European activities, about the open calls, about onboarding processes of the platform, how to use the platform, bring information about projects, and so on. The other area of the platform is a marketplace. I show you this in more detail in a few seconds, where you have access to AI assets, where you can get these assets directly, order them, even if they are open source or commercial. It's possible to access your AI asset quite easily over the marketplace. Then we have the Business Navigator, which I show you in detail now. And the Business Navigator is as follows. So As I said, so we have many AI companies in Europe. We have a lot of software companies, consulting companies in Europe, and it would know for all of us to make these organizations visible. So it's a little bit like the CRM system for all of us in the area of the AI factories, of other initiatives, that we have one place where all this business-orientated organization are mapped, are located, and visualized. You can filter search for specific parts, for specific companies, and also do some statistic who is already in our ecosystem, who is not in our ecosystem. At the end, our goal should be, especially considering all these initiatives about the AI factory, the EDIHs, that most of the 7,000 or most of the European software industry is visible and attached and networked to us, to our AI ecosystem. And this business navigator should help. It's a tool to register. You can register already now. I show you the link in a second. And then to have access. And for the AI factory, this has the advantage to access more customers, more users, not just 20, 30, hundreds of users, and that we really scale up the usage of our HPC resources, data, competences, and so on. On the other hand, we have the marketplace. We already heard this before, this one-stop shop idea. But the one-stop shop idea should not end on a national level or at one AI factory. I mean, we should have a European view to this one-stop idea. And so therefore, we have implemented and released this marketplace. It's fully functional. You can use it. You can bring your application from your AI factory, from your SME to this marketplace in an easy way and make it visible to whole Europe. And then, of course, you can also check out other tools. And of course, we don't want to duplicate anything. We want to route your results. We want to make your results accessible across Europe so that we have one marketplace here in Europe for AI asset. Here, I show you a few examples by a screenshot. Here also you can filter. So this is an industrial business-oriented marketplace where you really can easily register, check out, and enter the AI application. And of course, the kind of topics or resources we have here are access to HPC and cloud resources. I mean, we have also in this initiative several of the AI factories included, like the collect from Meluxina or the collect from Lumi. So they are already attached here. But we have also a bunch of AI development tools. We have a bunch of sector-specific AI application on energy, on different areas, and of course, European LLMs. So access to European LLMs, we are all very active here. And we also provide playgrounds, benchmarking tools, etc. So beyond this marketplace realization, we have also the possibility really to build AI applications. We saw this in detail before by the two use cases. And at the moment, it's really the work of specialists doing machine learning training, optimizing, fine-tuning LLMs, also very high skilled. But we want to lower the level of knowledge to build the AI application, especially in the training and fine-tuning process. So we have provided, or we have attached to the platform tools to build, train, operate, and to provide AI application services. If I would have more time to present, I can show you also an example, but probably not. I have to hurry up. So this is an example how to do this. So, and if I interpret the signals, I have to, but of course, you can see the slides later. So now I already sum up a little bit. So for the advantage for the SME and AI factories here in this round here, I think this Business Navigator brings you access to the SME and startup landscape of 27 member states. So we are in the process of onboarding several member states now. We have a centralized marketplace for technologies, infrastructure, AI asset, and we are fostering this transfer of the European AI research results to the European AI ecosystem. And last asset, there are now open calls starting from us, from a sister project, AI Boost. So come to us, so we provide you information. And for the SME companies, you can go for 150,000 euro to go for the open calls. So, and now you have to be active. You have to register, of course, here either you go to the website here of the marketplace, or you just make a copy of this QR code, and then you are logged in, hopefully in 5 minutes, and then you are a member of this AI on demand platform, and then you get all the services for free at the moment, and can be part of this platform and bring your also your resources to the platform. Here are the relevant links. Yeah, so you will see the link also later when you have the slides, and that's a consortium and the key persons in the project of AI realizing the AI on demand platform. And we are still in a very early phase of the project, but the platform is fully available. You can log in, register, use, bring content to this, so everything is ready to use. And thanks for your attention, and happy to hear questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joachim, and thank you for being such a good sport when I asked you to speed up. I really, really appreciate that. So the good news is that we have 9 minutes left before the end of this webinar, so we've done really well. So thank you very much to all the speakers who spoke today and went fast and furious. But this is a fast and furious world, and we need to, and obviously AI is there. Now I've got 5 minutes maybe to ask, if anybody dares ask a question in open mic, there are 113 people on this call, no, 112 on this call. Do we have any questions for any of the speakers, assuming they're still with us? If not, we'll manage it. And if you don't, that's fine as well. Any questions? And I'm asking my colleagues to keep an eye on all the speakers, because it's quite hard to see any hands up. No, I think there probably are, but let's be honest. Can I see any hands up? No. Okay. All right. So I'm going to assume there are loads of questions out there, but they're they're not willing to, well, maybe not wanting to ask them in this public place, but that's fair enough. So, but there is still an opportunity to ask questions in different ways. Firstly, simply by when you registered, you could give us feedback for your registration form. You could also send us a question through our functional mailbox that we will give you the link to in a second via our website. You can also contact the AI factories directly. Some of the colleagues gave their contact details very bravely over this call, so thank you for that. And of course, you can re-watch the whole 4 hours when we publish this webinar on our website. And you can also, at that same point, you would also have access to all the slides that were presented this morning. So without further ado, I want to say a huge thank you to the 14 speakers who agreed to speak with such, well, very professionally, very proficiently, and also for keeping us on time. I would also like to thank all my JU colleagues and Javier from the European Commission who've been in the background helping to answer the questions that were put away. And generally, this I think was very successful, and I want to thank you all for that very, very much. On this, one last chance to tell you can access the information about the different resources that will be available for you if you decide to go into the adventure and find and get involved in the AI factory. Take advantage of the AI factory services and of course the infrastructure. The QR code is up there, so you can quickly zap your phone and have a look now. And on that note, 2 last things. If you want to see us physically and ask us for follow-up questions, we will be at ISC in Hamburg. So that's the International Supercomputing Conference in Hamburg in June. We have a very central booth, and most of our AI factories will also be there and will be ready to answer questions directly with you. And then later on in September, we will also be in Copenhagen for our User Day conference. More information about that will come up soon, and you're very welcome to register and join us and learn more about how to access our systems, how to access the services to the AI factories, and last but not least, how to learn more about some of the projects that have actually used our systems to get inspired for your project or your business. So thanks again for your time. All the very best for the rest of the day. And again, thanks to the speakers and to my colleagues. All the best. Thank you.